You know that headache that seems like it just won't go away? I don't remember exactly when it started, just that it wouldn't stop. Like something pressing on the inside of my head. April 2023. My friend Esme thought that something might be wrong.
I asked you how long you had this headache for, and you were like, I've had it for a week. It was like early morning, and I went to your room to check on you, and then you just collapsed. Like, you didn't faint, like, you were still conscious, but you just like fell over, and I was like, oh my God. And so I asked you, like, can I call like the ambulance? And so they arrived, they took you out in the stretcher, and I came with you.
The doctors couldn't find anything wrong, so they sent me home. Take more painkillers, they told me. I went back the next day. This time they gave me more painkillers and steroids. It's probably the stress of the semester, the doctors told me. They don't say MIT is like drinking from a fire hose for nothing. I went back a third time and they scanned my brain. Something didn't look right. Pressure was building up inside my head. They ordered an emergency surgery, a ventriculostomy. The principle is pretty simple. How do you relieve pressure in a container? You put a hole in. That felt a whole lot better. But the problem wasn't gone. Whatever caused the pressure buildup was still there. It was something called a germinoma. Cancer. A germ cell tumor, an error of development, a timed release, present since birth. At this point, about the size of a tangerine, growing in a place where no tangerine should ever be. And it was going to keep growing unless we did something about it. It was scary, but I wasn't worried. The doctors knew what to do. May 2023. There was a protocol with a very high success rate. The principle here was again quite simple. How do you stop something from growing? You feed it poison. Chemotherapy. It kills anything that grows. Cancer cells are constantly growing. The problem is that so is the rest of you. It's not the most precise of techniques, to say the least. But if you take enough shots, you're bound to hit your target eventually. And the kind of chemo they gave me, not exactly cutting-edge medical technology. But it worked. 2 months and about 3 gallons of poison later, a tangerine shrank to a grape, to a blueberry, to nothing. July 2023. Now all that was left was to tidy up the pieces. There was a protocol for this too, but here's where the principle gets a little more complicated. Radiation. Proton beam radiation. Essentially an atomic scale scalpel to cut away the pieces of whatever's left of the cancer inside my head. All I know is that it involved a particle accelerator and it felt a whole lot better than chemo. I went in, got shot in the head by a proton beam for 20 minutes, and then went home to do it all again the next day. Rinse and repeat for 3 weeks, and it was over. The doctors even gave me a fancy certificate. September 2023. 5 months since my first hospital visit, and I was cancer-free. That was a year ago, and it hasn't come back since. I'll need MRIs every few years for the rest of my life to make sure, but other than that, I'm in the clear. It's all over. So what's the takeaway? How have I changed? What have I learned? I can't say that I have a new lease on life or anything, although I'm very grateful that I got as lucky as I did. What I can say is that I realized it's important to take your time. Why spend life running around suffering through stuff you don't want to do when you only have so many days? Take some time to figure out how you want to spend that time, because you never know when something might get in the way. Use the time that you have to do what you want to. No rush. And most importantly, don't let any unexpected challenges stop you.